So, onto the fur. And I thought about it for about 30 seconds here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to base coat this. I'm going to base coat the fur in a light blue, or sky blue to be specific. Kind of a muddier sky blue though. I'm going to try to dull it out just a hair. And then highlight it up to kind of an ivory. And that's going to give Krampus a little bit more of a magical look, as opposed to like a Yeti that's going to start off more of a yellowish brown color. But we'll see how this goes. I mean, if it looks really ugly as I start to highlight it up, I can always stop and start over. The other thing I'm planning on doing is with this flesh, I may just, with the fur, I might even use some kind of a bluish wash if I like it enough. I mean, because so far it looks pretty cool. It looks quite frozen. Yeah. Do this, highlight once, wash with blue. Re-highlight. And then keep moving towards white. If I really do want to keep it a little more organic looking, I could wash this with more Griffin sepia. Well, probably won't need to though. And I'm doing this while that flesh wash is drying, so be careful when you're swinging the model around and you applied a heavier wash like I did. You don't want that wash to bleed into the areas that you intend on painting. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to talk about Krampus. What is Krampus? Well, Krampus is an old Nordic myth, I believe, from Sweden, possibly Norway. I think it's pretty sure it's Sweden. It's a Swedish myth about this mythical beast that punishes children who are bad around Christmas time. So Krampus does is he show up at your house of a naughty child, beat that naughty child with a stick, then put that child in a barrel or a sack and continue to beat that naughty child. So that's the Christmas legend of Krampus. In fact, it actually gets a little more offensive than that if you read into it, and I really don't feel like discussing that here for fear of pissing off my handful of viewers. But yeah, that's the legend of Krampus. And so Jake and I were at the store a few weeks back, and we just wanted to pick up some stuff to paint, and Jake found this Krampus. And so he asked me, should I bring home Krampus? And I said, of course you should bring home Krampus. I mean, look at him. He's Krampus. He has a stick for beating kids, and he puts them in this barrel over his back. How do you not want that figure? So Jake went ahead and picked up Krampus, and we've been laughing about it ever since. And it's kind of been this long, drawn-out joke within SoCal Malifaux that we talk about Krampus. Like, Krampus being the most overpowered thing and this all-powerful entity. No one will ever beat Krampus. And it just, I don't know. I mean, for whatever reason, we just find the whole thing, the whole legend of Krampus, to be one of the funniest things ever. And so, I don't know, maybe a month later, we were at a different hobby store, running Malifaux, of course, and we found another Krampus. And Jake said, okay, Octave, there's a Krampus, you better pick it up. And I did, and that's what we're painting today, is more Krampus. So, well, if you are part of SoCal Malifaux and you hear us talking about Krampus and you don't know what Krampus is, this is Krampus, okay? Sorry, the look on his face is kind of priceless right now. Yeah, that's Krampus. And it's just, I don't know, it's one of our favorite things to talk about. Looking pretty good so far, Krampus. I'm going to actually allow this, a little bit of this blue to bleed over into the flesh here on the tail. Same here with the legs. You kind of want a little bit of run together there, because it will help kind of blend things out more smoothly when the time comes. So there's what I would call the foundation coat of the fur. It is this light blue. He kind of looks like a big bag of like cotton candy right now. I don't think Krampus likes that comment. But we talk about Krampus like he's a member of the club, and he is. I mean, it's a nightly topic for us. What would Krampus do? You know, how do we appease Krampus for another evening? And it comes up a lot. I highly recommend that everybody have, or every gaming group have, some form of Krampus to refer to, you know, for when things go wrong. Alright, so that's done. Let's go back in, give our flesh another highlight while the fur is drying. just gonna lightly pick off. I'm not even in frame. I'm sorry, guys. Pick off a couple edges here and there. Pick up that edge. And this edge right here. See how that catches a lot of light? You can highlight that up. There we go. Yeah. So that's how we got started with Krampus. We still talk about the Krampus. Because why not? He's Krampus. Okay, Krampus looking pretty cool so far. In fact, I'm gonna paint in the hooves right now since I can. I'm waiting for that blue to dry. Gonna go with a little black right here on the hooves. And you can highlight these up and go crazy on the hose. I personally not that big on hooves unless Krampus wills it, then we have to do it. If Krampus does not approve of my paint job, I must do it again. Such is the will of Krampus. Whoa, a little hair got stuck in my brush there. Here we go. Krampus. Alright, hooves are done on the Krampus. Well, they're not done, they're base coated. Okay. Another thing we can do while this is all drying down is I can actually start the browns. Might as well. So, I'm going to start with this beige brown for the leather straps. And then that wood is going to be Iraqi sand. So I'm going with the beige brown right now. Oh, and the horns are actually, I'm actually going to highlight them up from beige brown all the way up to ivory, because it's one of the cooler parts of the Krampus model. Just going to hit these straps in here under the arm. Around this corner here. Krampus looks a little crazy light blue and brown right now. Pretty funny, actually. Over here. Okay. So there's that. There's this strap right here. To form up a tip so I can hit that area. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna do the bands over the barrel where Krampus keeps naughty kids. Naughty kids. Don't really have anything to add here, other than Krampus is still awesome. There we go. Got a brown back in here. There we go. Let's get a little color on these horns. So on the horns, like I said, I'm going to start off with this color. Blend it all the way up to a lighter color. The more layers you do, the cooler this is going to look. And so my plan is to do about, I don't know, 5, 6. And then wash, before I wash the whole thing. And it should look pretty cool. Now if you're doing white, do you really need to go up this far with the darkest of browns? No, you don't. I mean, that's part of what gives you speed, is like if I wanted to, I could stop right there and just say, okay, that's enough brown. That's about as far as I'm gonna go. But to keep this nice and subtle, keep my gradient more gradual, I am gonna paint the entirety of the horns. just so you can see. Krampus isn't going to allow me too many shortcuts. Are you, Krampus? Here we go. Alright. Krampus. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to give the fur a little bit of a wash. So I'm going in with Asserman Blue on the fur. And that's going to give me a icier, magical look. I wonder what color Jake is painting his Krampus. I think brown. I think Jake is going to paint his Krampus brown, and mine will be blue. Mine will actually be a little bit more white by the time I'm done here, but you get the picture. Pretty cool. He looks really blue, like a Krampus Smurf. Krampus Smurf. Does he look a little ridiculous? Yes. Is he Krampus? And can he pull it off? Absolutely. Krampus even has eyebrows, now that I look at it. Look at that. In his fur, he has his thick eyebrows. He's so cool. Look at that. That's Krampus for you. Been moving pretty fast here, guys. Krampus is just flying by. Who makes this figure, you ask? It's actually a Reaper Chronoscope figure. Now, what's cool is I actually do really like a lot of the minis in the Reaper Chronoscope line. I've never actually seen a game played with them. I'm not sure if they're just sort of a generic line that you can, you know, use for any game. But I like them. I think they're pretty cool. You have a lot of cool minis. What are my expectations of Krampus? Well, I hope that when people see this, they go, what the hell is that? That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a what the hell is that when they see this. I think I'm getting there. What do you guys think? And then, you know, then I expect to be able to proudly say, well, that's Krampus. Okay. So, we are actually moving quite along very quickly here. And Krampus is looking pretty good. I'm going to move up to Iraqi sand. If I can find it. There we go. Iraqi sand. So Iraqi sand is going to be the base coat for the wood, for his beat stick, and for the barrel. So let's get some Iraqi sand ready. And we'll do this all while that blue ink is drying. Spend more time mixing the paints than actually applying them. I think most veteran painters will tell you the same thing. They spend more time mixing their paints and cleaning their brushes than they do actually applying paint. I'll do that. I think I'll paint in Krampus's fingernails while I got him right here. There we go. Just a little added detail. We're gonna keep going. And then the next thing for me to start thinking about is, what do I want to do with this base? And that's a very interesting question. So what kind of rock should Krampus be on? I'm leaning towards gray. This looks like I've got him on a dungeon tile right now, and I can kind of see him stalking a dungeon, looking for a little kid to beat up with his stick. Somebody that's been bad for the Christmas season and must now suffer the wrath of Krampus. Really, really like Krampus. Really simple model to paint, in all actuality. But I mean, he's Krampus, and you should want to get him painted pretty quickly. When you get a Krampus, I wonder if anyone's actually going to watch this video. I mean, are there people out there? Wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. Maybe Jake is out there going, man, when am I going to get to watch a How Do You Paint Krampus video? But I don't think the rest of my subs are really waiting for that. Okay, maybe Veil of Darkness 000. He might be waiting for this video. He probably wants to know how to paint Krampus. But yeah. Other than the SoCalers who are part of our secret cult of Krampus, I don't see a lot of demand for how do you paint this furry thing with the barrel on his back. Yeah, no, I mean, come on, it's cool. Look at that. Krampus. Okay. Got a little bit of bleed going on because I'm painting too fast. Painting too fast. But seriously, Krampus is almost done. He's almost done. You know, for contrast, maybe I paint the... let's go... I could go yellow ochre on the... No, that's not going to look right. Let's go basalt gray. Go back to basalt gray for the dungeon tile. That way we can use Krampus for Puppet Wars. He'll actually match my my Puppet Wars set. Because you never know. Maybe I'll just use him as the turn counter for Puppet Wars. I don't know. He is so damn cool, though. Did I mention Krampus is cool? Probably about 50 times in this video so far. Probably. Give it a shot. Alright, so real quick, throwing a base coat down. Well, many things are drying right now. Just a matter of getting back to either a highlight or a wash step. In fact, that's not. Feather that out. Look at that. That was a mess. I'll feather that out. Okay. Sometimes you just paint so fast, you gotta fix as you go. This gray is going on so thin it's practically like a wash, which is good because, you know, you want to leave it so you can get a lot of detail out of this. I don't think people really want to sit there and paint floor tiles. At least I don't. Okay. So far, so good. Let's go back in with some light blue, get back to the fur. It's going to be light blue. I'm actually going to add just a little bit of the wash water to it. Sometimes I do that, like just a little bit of rinse water to it to make it a little dirtier. Here we go. And this isn't exactly line highlighting. I know it looks like it. It's more of an overbrush instead of a dry brush. The goal here is just to get us back to light blue, but maintain that shadow that the wash left. Ooh. Now you could totally dry brush this step. I just don't do that. And I don't really have good reasoning for it in this case, because, you know, Krampus he's covered in fur. Makes sense to dry brush stuff like this. But I'm just gonna gently overbrush instead of dry brush. And that's actually gonna give me the effect that I most want to see. And it allows me to control where everything's going better than dry brushing does. He's starting to come in now. There we go. Much better. So he's gonna look more white towards the end here as I highlight up. So he'll look less Smurfy, a little more Yeti, as you do. Now when you're overbrushing, you know, you don't need a fine point, but you do want to kind of direct your highlights to highlight along the tips of the fur in this case. But you want to leave enough of that dark blue underneath so that you still keep your shadow. That looks really stark, doesn't it? It should. It's kind of what I'm going for. See that? Alright. There's that. Nice thing about overbrushing too is still, even though it's not actually dry brushing, it's still going to dry pretty quick just because you have it's such a thin layer going over everything. Okay, so now it's looking a little bit more white there. Let's actually get some white. Not the white I want. Actually, this should work from a mixing standpoint. I have an old white and a new white. Old white's okay from a mixing standpoint. It's not a good straight up highlight though. Wow, it's really dying. I think I'm gonna call it a day with that one. So let's get it up to white. Mix that color up. So this is also going to be like another overbrush layer. On the Krampus. We're going to go a little bit lighter this time. Because, you know, that's what you do when you're dry brushing. Is you go lighter and lighter and lighter. is you step up your colors. So, and you start to, as you're overbrushing, you start to pick your spots a little bit better. Whoa. Except for right there. That wasn't so good. See, it already looks white. It's already looking white, and it's not. There we go. And the other thing about overbrushing is it will help maintain detail if you paint with the grain of what it is you're painting. And just again, super light. Go super light. That's what's gonna make it look correct. Super light. Do as many layers as you feel you need to until you think you're done. What I do is I go till I think I'm done, and then I, for good measure, go one more layer. See? Hey, Krampus. Wait, is he? You can actually kind of see some of the yellow there in the eye. Hold on. Krampus? Yes. Krampus. Okay. Kind of cool, this guy. Alright, so I don't think you guys are going to want to watch me do 2 more layers of this. I am going to do 2 more layers of this. And I'll do that. I'm going to talk to my friends here for a second. One of them's messaging me. And then I'll be right back with more Krampus. Be right back.